We go. Hey there, welcome. We'll get started here in just a minute. We'll give it just another minute for others to join. A few more people coming in the room here. Hi, everyone, welcome. We'll get started here in just a minute. I was just giving it a second for others to join in. All right, great. A couple more people joined. We will go ahead and get started then. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Teresa Donahue. I'm the Brand Engagement Marketing Manager here at Volusion. I'm excited to have you here today. We have our marketing partners from Marketing 360 with us today, and they're going to share some tips and tricks for preparing your e-commerce store for the busiest season of the year, the holidays. Just a couple of reminders here before we jump into it. If you have any questions, please submit those during the webinar in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, I believe it is. We'll be answering those questions live at the end of this webinar. However, if you have really specific questions that pertain to your store, or if we just don't have time to get to all the questions today, we'll email you directly so that we can get all of your questions answered. And we'll also be recording the webinar today. So we'll send this out via a link tomorrow where you can watch it on YouTube as well. And also we have a special offer for all of our webinar attendees today. If you, for attending today, you will receive a free custom Black Friday or Cyber Monday banner for your website. So make sure to take advantage of that. On the agenda today, we'll be covering design for the holidays, email marketing, PPC and paid ads, shopping feeds, SEO, social media, and then also offering a holiday promotional calendar tool as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it here. Thanks, Andrew and Tyler, for being here today. These are our Marketing 360 experts. Thanks so much for being here. Andrew, could you tell us a little bit about what you do at Marketing 360?
Sure, yeah, and thanks for having us, Teresa. We love doing this. It's not every day somebody calls me an expert, so it's always nice to hear it. I'm the director of partnership marketing at Madwire Marketing 360. Been there about 13 years. Been in the digital marketing space for about 25 now. And Teresa's asked us to be here to talk about preparing for the holidays, and this is a critical thing that we talk about with most of our clients and internally with our staff too. So we're happy to have you here and share whatever information and knowledge we might have with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. And Tyler, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for Marketing 360?
Yeah, it's nice to meet everybody. Yeah, I've been at Marketing 360 for 12 years now, and most of my specialty is in everything that has to do with performance marketing and paid advertising. And so I'm really passionate about that stuff, excited to see how I can help provide some value to you guys to prepare for the holidays this year.
Awesome. Super excited to get into it. All right, the first subject we'll cover today is design for the holidays. Let's see here. So when it comes to website design, Andrew, what are your suggestions around preparing for the holiday season?
Yeah, this is clearly a big part of this, right? Because this is the actual thing that your clients will see, kind of first and foremost, to let them know that these promotions have begun. And you might ask yourself, look, it's only August. Why are we talking about the holidays already? I just finished paying off Christmas, last month, and that's a really good point, right? Because if you probably experienced this, I know I have too, is if you wait till last minute to do things to Christmas shop, you're going to pay a lot more than you probably would before because there's not as much opportunity or availability, right? Because there's been demand in place for the last few months already. And this is the same thing. Demand for this advertising space starts now, right? So it's really important to consider that. And one of the main things you want to consider is what the design of your website is going to look like. So a couple of things that we kind of go by at Marketing 360 as kind of rules of thumb, right? One is to get started early, right? To have these things up, ready to go and up by early October, right? And we want to start with a really big homepage banner dedicated to whatever promotion you're doing, right? Make it really easy for your customers to see what you're offering. Make it really easy to see for them to give you their money, right? And they can't start doing that unless they see the offer up front. So make sure you have a really compelling homepage banner that will direct them to that page where that offer lives. And if you're doing any paid search campaigns, and Tyler will talk about that more a little bit later, one thing we like to do is create a squeeze page that kind of features a sense of urgency on that for that offer as well. And really, what a squeeze page is a page dedicated to a particular offer or service, where the only option is to convert on that page into a customer or to a, to a lead or leave. Right. So we want to make this as dedicated as possible, where you're not letting them kind of venture off and kind of explore your website. That's not what we want right now for these promotions. It's going to cost some money to run these campaigns. We want to get the best ROI out of it as possible. So when them direct them to a page that's built specifically around this offer and keep their focus there. Then for any organic search offers too, what we want to do is talk about is building more and more evergreen content. If you, whether you know it or not yet, SEO, the organic side of building content takes a little bit longer to kind of to take hold. It takes longer for Google to index that. Where paid search is immediate, it could take months for that organic stuff to start to index in Google's search algorithm. So you want to start that now, definitely. But you want to make that content something that can last year over year. So I would keep maybe specific offers out of that, unless you're going to feature that offer again next year and maybe the year after. But make this more about the holidays and kind of and the offerings that you have, but nothing specific as far as price point or anything like that, because it's going to stay there for a while.
Awesome. And then what are some popular promotions that you see most often, and what tips do you have to bring in more sales with them?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, right, the first things that are going to come up during this holiday season are Black Friday and Cyber Monday. The most popular offers are always dollars off, right? That's the best thing you could possibly do. You want to figure out your margins before you do that and make sure it's something that you can live with, and what kind of volume you're going to need to sell to make up for that discount. But those are typically the most effective ones, right? And you want to get those up and early, right? Because those are going to be really popular. So especially for Black Friday, those can start as early as October as well. So start advertising what that's going to be. You don't necessarily have to give that price point right away if you don't want to honor a discount too early. You can just start the kind of the build-up process and the anticipation with customers knowing that something's coming, that something big and exclusive and exciting is coming down the road. And you might want to, this is a kind of important kind of piece of this, right? To make sure you don't forget these things or do things too early or too late is to create a content calendar where you can keep track of all these things. Have your assets ready to go. Have a calendar how you want to. Say if you're doing like a kind of a tiered approach where you're starting to build excitement over a few weeks, have that already planned out and scoped out with that creative already done and the date that you're going to add that to your website and replace what's there now, right? It's really important to stay on task that way too as well. You again have those designs and graphics prepared ahead of time. You can always edit them at the last minute if you need to, but have the heavy lifting of that design done already so you're not rushing at the last minute to do it. Gives you more time to do something that's really nice, gives you more time to run it by family and friends and see what they think about it. Ask them if it's compelling, if it's worth putting up, or if there's something they would change, right? That can only help. And then be creative and be playful, right? This is the holidays. This is fun. All right, so make it that, right? Don't make them too serious. Have it where this is something that someone is going to enjoy, something that reminds them that the holidays are a fun time to be. So keep your creative around that. I think does a good job of kind of keeping that emotional engagement high with your clients. Again, associating your product and your offer with something that's going to be beneficial and fun for them.
I love it. Those are great tips. Thank you.
So my pleasure.
All right, moving on to email marketing for the holidays. Andrew, do you have any tips for email marketing as we go into the holiday season?
Yeah, we kind of touched on it a minute ago with the design, but this is something you want to have a series of if possible, right? One email can be effective, but a multiple email journey can be really effective, right? Especially if you want to make sure that you're top of mind because your competition and is going to start advertising earlier. It starts happening earlier and earlier every year, right? So you want to get yourself out there. And again, you don't have to have the specific offers. Say if you're doing like a 4 email series, right? You don't have to be specific in that first one or two, but start building that anticipation with those emails. If you have an email tool that can help you create a kind of conditional logic journey, meaning that if someone gets the first email and they click on it, then send them this one. If they don't, send them this one instead. If they opt out, stop sending them. Like there's plenty of tools that have to. We have that in our dashboard, but there's plenty of other ones out there as well. You can do all this creative ahead of time, which again is a really good idea. Have that built in and have that thing go automatic, right? Where you just set those forward, say you have that 4 email journey, you set those 4 emails up in there with the kind of distance you want between them. Recommend probably the farther out you are, the farther that distance should be. So maybe the first you send the first email, 2 weeks later you send the second one, and then you wait a week and send the third one, and then you send the fourth one in 3 days or something like that, building up to the date when the sale actually starts to help increase that sense of urgency. And your copy and your graphic design should reflect that sense of urgency as well, right? And you could use things like hurry, exclusive offer, and soon. Those types of things will help them kind of get them moving when you're ready to start taking those sales in the door. Here's some examples of what those might look like. You could even do one post the holiday as well too, right? To pick up some more additional sales with that, to say it's not too late or something like that. Hey, I know you missed the sale, but there's still time to save, or we've extended it another week or so. Those work really well too. They're going to get a lot of email around this time of year and a lot of offers, so they might miss yours, even if it was really applicable to them. So keep working it until you feel comfortable giving extending that offer, but it can only help and get you some more sales on the back end of those holidays as well.
Great, all great information there. All right, moving into pay-per-click and search marketing for the holidays. Tyler, could you walk us through preparing for holiday campaigns with PPC and just tell us a little bit about timing for that? When's the best time to launch for those specific holidays like Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Yeah, absolutely. So, getting prepared ahead of time for all three is usually best practice. We usually recommend starting at least in September, earlier if you can. Just the main things to cover for each, holiday. I'd say make sure you just touch base on your ad copy and your banners, your promotion extensions. Make sure that you can offer free shipping if possible. And then also start digging into your holiday bundles and packages if you can create that. That's going to be really helpful. Plan out your budget so you have an understanding of how much money you want to allocate towards each campaign for each holiday. And then also just make sure that you're segmenting out any sort of specific audience list that you can, so that you're prepared to target, repeat shoppers, maybe lapsed shoppers, and just any site visitors in general. That way you can really maximize that return there. Awesome. So I just want to dig into ad extensions and promotions a little bit more specifically. So this is just where you can have a lot more intention on Google here. So make sure that you're using your promotion extensions to feature the actual seasonal discounts. We're using the promotion extension specifically. And then highlight your free shipping offers if you can, not just in your extensions and your call out extensions, but also in your headlines. That's extremely helpful just to make sure you're bringing attention to that extra benefit that you're offering. And then also update your structured snippets. A lot of times this is kind of an overlooked extension. And so if you can put in your return policies and your deadline dates within your structured snippets, that's actually very helpful. Just kind of creates that additional safety measure for the buyer when they're making that buying decision. Awesome. And then just digging into bundles, like I just kind of want to give a small example of different things to kind of get your minds going if you haven't thought about this yet. But the main goal of bundles, right, is to increase the average order value. I'm sure most of you know that, but if you haven't prioritized it, think about it now. See if you can think of anything new that you want to create this year that's holiday themed, and start designing and bundling them now. That way, your teams can kind of discuss what you like, what drives the biggest average order value, and of course, the highest profit margin for your specific business. So definitely be intentional from a creative place and also a profit place. And then, of course, target transactional intent modifiers like best gifts for and holiday deals. Those are really great just to kind of put in your ad copy to be kind of keyword friendly. And then also just again, remarket past shoppers and tailor your bundle to any sort of products that have gotten the most interest from specific shoppers. And so definitely dig into your analytics and see if you can find opportunities like that.
Awesome. Great information. Thank you. All right. Going into play number 4, shopping feeds for the holidays. Tyler, what tips could you give us when it comes to holiday shopping feeds?
Yeah, so I tried to make sure that we're always just making sure we're on top of just basic feed quality and stock readiness, right? And so starting early, make sure all of your products are able to be crawled and indexed by the search networks. I know that's foundational knowledge, but I think it's important to double check. It's one of those things that's easily falls through the cracks. And so if you can take advantage of getting in that organic traffic, that gives you direction on where to allocate your paid budget. And so definitely making sure you're doing that ahead of time now is, ideal, if not earlier. In terms of just your overall evergreen approach, this is extremely helpful for holidays as well. So. And then, of course, once you've identified the inventory you're going to lean into for the holidays, obviously stock up. Make sure you have plenty to fulfill those orders. and just make sure you're prepared overall from that front as well. And then data accuracy. So just go through your overall feed and just make sure everything is in the best quality it can. The biggest areas are like your photos, make sure they're high resolution, make sure there's no watermarks or any logos inside of them. Definitely get ahead of that if you can. Descriptive titles, more importantly, keyword friendly titles and descriptions is extremely very helpful. And then just make sure that your product data is all accurate. Make sure your GTIN is accurate, your MPN is accurate. Make sure all your feed data, such as your gender, your colors, overall variance in general that you offer for your specific business, just make sure it's all up to speed and really just in a healthy place now. That way, it's not something you have to worry about or cram or troubleshoot, last minute during the holidays when things are busy.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
All right. What about segmentation and promos?
Yes, so this is something I think is very overlooked. So I think that it's really helpful to group and segment your products by each holiday so that you can have that performance data afterhand and take that into next year, right? And so if you can make sure to break that out in your campaign structure and in your feed structure, it's going to be extremely helpful for you to get the appropriate data and have that data separated from your evergreen approach and your standard product marketing. That's extremely helpful. Like I said, you can compare and contrast each year and take it to have ideas to, improve upon the next year. And then merchant center promos, just make sure that you're going in and setting those up ahead of time. Sometimes promotions can get disapproved. And so it's helpful to just kind of get ahead of it and make sure that it's scheduled, planned, approved ahead of time. So start getting ahead of that now and submitting those while you can so that you can address any potential issues that may or may not come up. And then just standard competitor intelligence is always recommended. Just go and spy on your clients' ads and kind of see what they're offering. Check out their sites, see if you see anything that they're doing that's maybe better than your promotions, and see if you can afford to at least meet them where they're at, or even better, beat their promotions. And so, that's another thing that is easy to kind of be overlooked is kind of understanding, that people are shopping for different promotions, make sure that your promotions are competitive and at least matching the market in general. So those are the three main areas I'd say to focus on for promotions and segmentation.
Okay, great. Awesome. And then what are your suggestions to promote a frictionless checkout process?
Yeah, so just minimizing the total clicks is the name of the game. Sometimes simple removal of the fluff is extremely helpful. So if you have any unnecessary pop-ups, anything that leads to low page loading times, anything like that, it's important to go back and check through and just kind of run through your checkout process as a whole and see if you can find any opportunities for better efficiency. So, and just kind of make sure that there's nothing that's, setting that back in general. Um, yeah, those are kind of this. It's pretty simple, but it's important to check because I think it falls through the cracks pretty often. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. All right, moving on here. SEO for the holidays. Andrew, optimizing SEO is best done early. And I see here that both August and September are ideal times for getting started with the holiday SEO keywords. We are in August now, so what would you suggest, doing now and early to set our merchants up for success?
Yeah, I would suggest starting everything right now. And what Tyler just talked about, optimizing the pages for the feed, also help optimize those pages for organic ranking too, right? It's really just kind of best practice. So as far as product pages go, if you follow those kind of guidelines, those pages will start to rank better as well. And then also the point about keeping the site nimble and light with getting rid of things like excessive pop-ups. Page load times affect your SEO ranking as well too, right? And you want to make a really, to your point, a really frictionless experience. But if we're building specific pages for the holidays for SEO, which I think we're talking about here, right? Is now's the time to get started with that as well. What you kind of want to do, again, this is if we're building content for pages that we intend to use for SEO ranking, make sure I would recommend at least that we keep that content evergreen without specific price promotions, right? Again, unless you plan to keep that same promotion year over year, which most people do not. You could do something like free shipping, right? If you plan to offer that or year over year, those are things that work really well. Probably in second place next to a price discount, free shipping, especially around the holidays, right? You're paying a lot of shipping already, and a lot of people are going to have that offer too. So that's always a good one to build in there. But as you build that page, you want to make sure you research the keywords to identify important terms to use in your content. And you probably know a lot of these already, right? You know which products are popular, what people actually search for in the industry, but it never helps to double check. You might be missing something. There's a lot of tools out there that can help you do that as well. There's things like, and if you're running paid advertising, you look and see what people are clicking on in your paid advertising, get an idea of what terms are important there. But there's a lot of kind of AI tools nowadays that help with that as well. If you use ChatGPT or Gemini or something like that, you can get that information from there too. And then when you're building that page, and Tyler touched on this too as well too, you want to optimize the URLs for those pages. One of the things that helps pages rank the best is if the actual content of that page is reflected in that page's URL, right? So if it's for like free shipping for holidays is the name of the page, that should be in that URL if possible too. That's only going to help, right? And so starting at your URL, down through your title tags to the page and down to the content, if those things are all consistent, that's going to help you get some kind of cheap wins for ranking organically too. So I'd recommend that if you can, right? So make that sure that page is keyword rich, or those ones you decided were important, and incorporate that into as many different aspects of the page as you can. This includes your meta tag titles and meta tag descriptions for every page. Make sure those are consistent as well. Identify those keywords you're going to use in the content in the page, that you're going to use in the URL, that you're going to use in those H1 and H2 tags as you build these pages as well, and incorporate that into the metadata too, right? If you think about that as a shortcut for Google's bots when they index your pages, it gives them a quick kind of TLDR of what that page is all about without having to comb the whole page, right? If you're Googling, you're combing billions of pages every day. That makes it fast. They like fast. That'll help you rank organically quicker too if you have a really good meta description to go along with that page too. And then make sure you're doing things like adding alt text to the photos in case that photo doesn't render on the page, or even for some sort for disabilities too. There's some for people with disability, there's some kind of requirements around that as well. But what it is an additional time to add text to that page too that's relevant, right? So don't miss any opportunity to add relevant keyword rich text to that page. And the alt tags are one that often get overlooked, but can be important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what about off-page SEO?
Okay. And then while, content is always king with SEO, so the most important thing is how your site is built, but there's some ways you can help generate more traffic to that site as that page starts to go up the rankings too, right? One of the things we recommend is backlinks to those pages, but you have to be careful about that. Make sure you're not buying those backlinks from a broker, right? That can only hurt you in the long run. You can do is use your kind of connections to network with industry related websites. You can kind of offer them the same deal. Hey, if you link back to our page, we'll do the same to you, right? You don't want to do it to someone who's competition, but someone who maybe is adjacent to what your business is, right? They do accessories or something like that that you don't sell. That can help out as well if it just makes sense, kind of that way. Reach out to industry influencers for product reviews and to offer to write guest blogs. So you might have to pay for that, but it could be well worth it. There's a lot of them out there too, so it's pretty affordable, but that can be a really good way to push that SEO as well. Any kind of relevant content that's pointing back to your site is going to help, right? And video goes a long way for that as well too. And then be active on social media. Develop email marketing campaigns that we talked about in November, December to further engagement with your brand, right? So, but I think the point is, right, to get active, right, and start getting active now, and as many different things you can do. It's not too early to start talking about Black Friday or Cyber Monday in your social posts, right? If you have a page you can link back to, giving them some dates when they can start to expect to see some of these offers coming through.
Awesome. Great. And you mentioned social media. We're going right into that now. Tyler, social media can be really powerful sales tool, especially around the holidays. What are some things store owners can do to optimize each social channel?
Yeah, so for TikTok, a few things that I wanted to mention. Something to look into if you haven't already is TikTok's fulfilled by TikTok option. If you can get affiliated with this and take advantage of their fulfillment services, it's actually really helpful for conversion rates. It gives you a nice little FBT badge that you can use, 3-day delivery guaranteed, and then it boosts conversions by, as you can see, 15 to 20%. And so it's extremely helpful to add to your shop if you have one, and definitely take advantage of that. And then affiliate gift guides, just partner with creators. It's going to be the same on Facebook and Instagram as well, but we live in a time of UGC. So definitely partner with creators if you can and see if you can get commission-based shoppable videos that you can take advantage of. That tends to be a lot more higher converting as well. And then live streaming. This is, obviously not always everybody's favorite thing to do, but it's really, really helpful to do if you want to get higher conversion rates. And so if you can have your team host a live shopping event where you can maybe go through the selected product bundles that we discussed earlier and things like that for each holiday, it's going to be extremely helpful if you host those types of live streaming events on TikTok. So.
Awesome. And then what about Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, so for Facebook, I would say it helps take advantage of their new Advantage Plus sales campaigns. It just kind of automates your catalog placement and dynamic ad delivery. When you're targeting those segmented remarketing audiences based off of add to cart events, viewing your products, engaging product engagement in general. Their Advantage Plus sales campaigns do a great job at making them personalized to the individual user based on whatever products they were looking at. And so it's extremely helpful to take advantage of that. Also, it helps to take advantage of their reels. And again, similar here, use UGC if you can, and also product or tag your product inside the actual video. This is really great at improving overall conversion rates as well. And then again, just ensure partnership ads with creators is extremely helpful. It really helps just improve engagement and conversion rate across the board. And one last thing I'll add for Facebook too, it's there's a lot of old practices that are still in the mix right now. A lot of people still like to do detailed targeting and audience targeting, and there's still a place for that. But the biggest thing I can recommend on Facebook is making sure that your ad copy is keyword relevant. Facebook's algorithms is really starting to pivot towards what the ad itself has within it. So as long as your video and your copy are actually relevant to whatever it is you want to show up for, the more success you're going to have on their algorithm. And so something to keep in mind as well when you're, marketing on Facebook this season.
Great. We have a couple more slides left, but before I move on, I just wanted to let everyone know on the webinar, if you have any questions, go ahead and submit those in the Q&A section now, because we just have a few more slides left and we're getting into our Q&A soon. But moving right along, Tyler, what tips do you have for Pinterest and the holidays?
Yeah, so anybody who uses Pinterest often is using it in a planning fashion. They're planners, and so it's a highly important of all platforms to probably spend time on early intent, most on this one. If you can start just getting these posts up with various product bundles that you have, even if they're not available yet, it helps to kind of have the actual pin out and available so that they can save it and pin it, right? And so if you can get ahead of that now, that's going to be really helpful to do. Even if you do it in September or August, that's fine. Just start, getting those pins out there that are featuring the upcoming promotions, product bundles, etc., that you have coming up around the corner. And of course, just like the other platforms, they have their AI functionality, so Performance Plus and collages. Take advantage of that, set up your interactive product collages, and it really serves their overall AI visual search function that they have on Pinterest. So definitely take advantage of that. And then post Christmas, Pinterest has data backing that they have post Christmas shoppers still. So that time between Christmas and New Year's, definitely take advantage of that and keep these ads going during that time if you can to collect any potential sales that are lost before the holidays. So.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Great info on the social media. All right, moving into holiday promotional calendar. We have a couple suggestions here. If you partner with Marketing 360, there is a Marketing 360 social app, which gives you the ability to schedule posts in advance, publish to multiple social channels at the same time. Also, Google Calendar, Google Workspace. This will help you keep on track with your launch dates for your seasonal content, for your promotions, sales, ads, social media, and more. Loomly is a great tool. It's content scheduling and a content calendar. Um, it lets you schedule social media posts ahead of time, keep track of your posts on the content calendar. And it's super helpful when you take some time to plan a week or two worths of content in advance. We also have Trello listed here. It's a project management tool, and it's especially helpful if you work with a team to collaborate on projects. You can organize workflows and track progress in a visual way, and it just makes those day-to-day tasks of working together and getting things done easier. But if you have any questions about these, send us an email. The email that I'll send out tomorrow with the recording of today's webinar, I'll include a link where you can access any of these tools, and also that promotion we have for the free Black Friday or Cyber Monday hero banner. You can request that as well. All right, moving into some questions here, and go ahead and submit any more questions that you have. We have a couple here. The first one I have is, I have a lot of products, but limited time to optimize my Google Shopping feed. Which product information should I prioritize first?
I would start with the highest margin and highest selling. That's where the money is going to be made. So if you have any low margin products that you can afford to kind of push to the wayside, I would do that. And so that's where I would start personally.
Yeah, that makes sense. Great. And then another question here. When you're planning holiday promotions, how do you determine whether a discount is actually going to drive incremental sales versus just giving a discount to someone who would have purchased anyway?
That's a great question, and one that we get a lot. And I think more than what you're looking at as far as sales, you're looking at revenue, right? Are you gonna lose revenue because you're discounting these products? So you're gonna have to do a little bit of math here, right? So all the math you thought you wouldn't need in high school, which was pretty much all of it for me, you're gonna have to kind of look at some of this now. And what you want to do is figure out how much more do you have to sell to break even when you offer that discount. And there's a formula for that, right? It's called the volume lift. How many more products do I have to sell to get the same or more? So really, all you do is you take the discount percentage if you're discounting something by 20%, and you divide that by your gross margin, right? So if you make 30% profit on that product, you subtract the discount from that, and then you divide the overall discount by that number. And we could send this out if you like later to figure out that math, but that will tell you how much more you have to sell to break even, right? So to make sure that that promotion is worth it to you. The other question is like that comes up a lot is who do I send it to? Or do I send the same offer to everybody? To your point, Teresa, is it people who are going to buy already? So if you're doing it through email, you might have that list already. If you could segment your email list from existing customers or past customers to brand new prospects, then you can give them a different offer, right? And maybe for the existing customers or your VIPs, give them something that's not necessarily monetary, right? Exclusive bundles or expedited shipping or something like that, because you don't necessarily want to give that discount to them because they're probably going to buy already anyway. So that's something to consider there too. Also, one thing you consider is you could have tiers, right? Where you spend this much, you get this much, right? So spend $100 and save 15, spend 200 and save 40. That can protect your margins a little bit more by doing something like that. Make sure that average order value goes up before you discount it. Bundling things, as Tyler mentioned before, and you could discount like the accessory to it necessarily, right? So you could keep the same price for that high ticket product that you sell, but discount the carrying case or whatever that comes with it, right? Where that margin is pretty small. Anyways, it's almost like a loss leader, right? Where you just really want to sell the big thing, so I'll discount the smaller thing. And then we talked about this before. Free shipping is a great one too, because that's global, right? You could tier that if you want to, like free shipping over a certain amount. I probably wouldn't recommend that during the holidays because everybody's going to give free shipping and you want to be competitive. But regardless of what they're spending, you're gonna give them the same offer, so you're not worried about the margins on a particular product as opposed to a different one, right? It's going to be the same thing, right? So with a higher ticket item, that free shipping is the same cost, assuming it's the same size or something like that and the same weight as it would be for a lower ticket item. So it's a lot less math, a lot less complicated things to worry about, and it's not necessarily a discount off something revenue wise, right? You have to factor what that free shipping is going to cost you because we know it's not free to you, but it could be worth it and it can make it a lot simpler to do this promotion during this time and make you really competitive without having to knock too much money off the actual cut into your profit margin as much.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that was great information. And we'll send out the questions from today with typed out answers as well. So you'll have those in writing. All right. I think that's all the questions we had. But just a reminder, you'll get that recording tomorrow in an email with all the links to the resources today. If you have any questions, just let us know. Andrew and Tyler, thanks so much for hosting today and giving us all this great information. And yeah, we wish you all holiday success.
Yeah, go get it.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Have a
Thanks,
great day.
guys.